The mystery of Virgo that makes other signs envious. They look at you, and you know it, right? That way people look when you solve something no one else could. When you organize chaos and make it seem simple. When you deliver exactly what you promised, flawlessly, without drama. And there's something in their eyes. It's not just admiration, it's envy. Not the ugly, destructive kind of envy, but that silent desire to have what you have. And here's the mystery. Most of them don't even know what they're envying. It's not your intelligence. It's not your hard work. It's not your organization. It's something deeper, something invisible, something you don't even realize you possess because for you it's as natural as breathing. And today you're going to find out. You're finally going to understand what makes you different. What makes you special? What makes others look and think, how I wish I had that? Virgo, the mystery isn't in what you do, it's in who you are. And the difference is everything. Because anyone can learn to do the things you do. Anyone can get organized, work hard, strive for excellence. But to be like you, to have what you have at your core, that can't be learned. That can't be copied. That can't be imitated. And that's exactly what others feel when they're near you. They feel there's something there, something you access naturally, that they would need a lifetime to develop, if they could even manage it. And that something? I'll tell you now. But you need to be prepared, because when you fully understand what you possess, when you name that quality, you can no longer pretend to be ordinary. You can no longer diminish yourself. You can no longer think you're just normal, because you're not. And you never were. What Virgo possesses, what truly makes a difference, is inner peace through self-mastery. And before you think you understand, wait. Because it's not the mastery you imagine. It's not external control. It's not power over others. It's not forcing the world to bend to your will. It's something much more subtle, much more powerful. It's mastery over yourself, over your reactions, over your inner world, over how you process reality. And when do you have that? When do you truly master your inner universe? The external world stops scaring you, stops destabilizing you, stops controlling you. And that's what others see and envy deeply. Think of someone you know, someone who lives in constant inner chaos, who is a hostage to emotions, who reacts without thinking, who gets lost in anxiety, anger, and fear. And now think of yourself. When was the last time you completely lost control? When was the last time an emotion overwhelmed you to the point that you acted in a way you later regretted? Rare, right? Because you have something that most people don't. You have space between stimulus and response. You have the capacity to feel emotion without being the emotion, to observe thought without being the thought, to be in a difficult situation but maintain clarity. And that's not coldness. It's not a lack of feeling. It's emotional maturity at a level that most never reach. And when others see that in you, when they see you calm in the middle of the storm, they feel it. They feel that you have access to something they don't have. And they want it, desperately. But there's more. There's a layer beneath that. Because peace through mastery is a result. But of what? Where does it come from? And here's the real secret. It comes from a specific relationship you have with imperfection. And that relationship? It's completely different from any other sign. Because most people have one of two reactions to imperfection. Either they deny it, pretend it doesn't exist, delude themselves that everything is perfect, or they drown in it, identify with it, become the imperfection. But you do it differently. You see imperfection clearly. You don't deny it. You don't delude yourself. You see exactly what's wrong, what can be improved, what's not up to standard. And instead of denying it or drowning in it, you improve. Simply that. You see it. You accept that it exists. And you work to improve it. Without drama, without an existential crisis, without a destroyed identity. Just improve. And you know what that creates? It creates a constant trajectory of evolution. Because you're never standing still, never stagnant. There's always something to improve. There's always a next level. And while others are struggling to accept their flaws, you've already accepted them and are already working on them. While others are in denial or despair, you're in action. And years of that, decades of that, they put you so far ahead that people look and don't understand how you got there, how you're so competent, so capable, so evolved. And you don't even notice. Because for you, it's natural. It's just what you do, every day, without fanfare, without expectation of recognition. Just doing, and improving, and doing better, and improving again, infinitely. And this is where envy intensifies. Because there's something about the way you improve that's particularly frustrating for others. You don't need external motivation. You don't need an audience. You don't need praise. You improve just because. Because you can. Because you want to be better. For yourself. Not for recognition, not for status, not to prove anything to anyone. Just because better is better, and you prefer to be better. And this purity of intention, this lack of need for external validation, that's what makes your growth genuine, real, sustainable. While others need constant encouragement, praise, recognition to continue, you continue in the dark, in silence, with no one watching. And when they finally see results, they're shocked. Because they didn't see the process, they only saw before and after. And the difference is striking. But let's go deeper, because there's another aspect, an aspect that truly makes others feel visceral envy. And it is this: you have purpose without it needing to be grandiose. You find meaning in the small things, in the everyday, in the process. While others are looking for a grand mission, a grand calling, a grand purpose that will define their lives, you find purpose in doing well what's in front of you, in improving small things, in bringing excellence to the ordinary. And that gives you peace, deep peace, because you're not waiting for a great moment to arrive. You're not waiting for life to begin. You are living, now, finding the sacred in the mundane, finding purpose in the process. And that's what most people search for their whole lives and never find, because they're looking in the wrong place. They're looking for the extraordinary when it's in the ordinary. And you always knew. Without realizing it, you always knew. And there's a consequence to that. A consequence that others see and envy without fully understanding what it is. You have contentment. Real contentment. Not complacency. Not lack of ambition. Not giving up. But contentment with where you are while working towards where you're going. And that's extremely rare. It's almost impossible for most. Because most are either dissatisfied with the present or terrified of the future, or regretful of the past. But you are here, present, working, improving, but at peace. At peace with the process, with the rhythm, with where you are. And when others see that in you, when they see you calm, centered, at peace while you're still under construction, they don't understand. Because for them, peace only comes later, after achieving, after proving, after arriving. But you have peace on the journey, and that changes everything. Because the journey is 99% of life. The arrival is 1%. And if you only have peace in the 1%, you spend 99% of your life in anxiety. But you have peace in the 99%. And you live. It truly lives, while it builds. And now let's talk about what is perhaps the most envied aspect, the most mysterious, the most impossible to copy. You have a healthy relationship with solitude. And not forced solitude, not isolation from pain, but a conscious choice to be alone and to be well, to be fulfilled, to be complete. Because you don't need constant external validation. You don't need a constant audience. You don't need perpetual entertainment. You can be with yourself, with your thoughts, with your silence. And you don't just tolerate it, you appreciate it. And this ability? It's a superpower in the modern world. A world where people will do anything to avoid being alone with their own thoughts, where solitude is feared, where silence is frantically filled with any distraction. But you choose silence. You choose solitude. You choose to be with yourself. And in that space of chosen solitude, you find yourself. You get to know yourself. You understand yourself. And you develop a relationship with yourself that is the basis for everything else. And others see that. They see that you're not dependent, not needy, not desperate for connection. And that, paradoxically, makes you more attractive. Because people feel that if you choose to be with them, it's a real choice. Not a need, not a lack of connection, not a fear of being alone, but a genuine desire for connection. And connection that comes from choice instead of need? It's deeper, more real, more valuable. And people feel that difference. They feel that being with you is different, that you're there because you want to be, not because you need to be. And that creates a kind of connection that most never experience. And when they experience it with you, they want more. Because they finally feel what it's like to be chosen. Not needed, chosen. And there's something else, another layer to this mystery. You have an internal standard, not an external one. Most people have standards that come from outside, from society, from family, from culture, from other people's expectations. And they spend their lives trying to reach a standard that isn't even theirs. But you developed your own standard, internal, based on what you believe, on what you value, on what makes sense to you. And this standard? It's usually higher than the external standard, because it's not about impressing others, it's about respecting yourself. And when do you have an internal standard? When do you live according to your own values instead of other people's expectations? You have integrity, real integrity, not a performance of integrity, not integrity for an audience, but constant integrity, private, that no one sees but that you feel. And this integrity? It creates a peace that money can't buy. Status doesn't give it. Approval from others doesn't bring it. It's the peace of being aligned with yourself. And that shines. People feel it, and they envy it. But let's talk about the elephant in the room. Let's talk about what Virgo thinks is a flaw, but is actually their greatest gift. Their tendency to see what's wrong, to notice imperfection, to see what can be improved. You think this is a problem. You think it makes you critical, negative, difficult. And sometimes it's used against you. People complain that you always see flaws, always point out problems, always want to improve what's already good enough. And you even believe that maybe they're right, that maybe you should relax, accept, stop wanting to improve. But here's the truth. This is exactly the quality that makes you who you are, that gives you everything else. Because without the ability to see imperfection, you don't improve. Without the ability to discern what can be better, you stagnate. And yes, sometimes it bothers others. But do you know why? Because you remind them that they could be better, that they could improve. And they don't want to. They want to be comfortable. They want to accept mediocrity. They want the peace of not growing. And you? You don't offer that peace. You offer challenge, possibility, potential. And that bothers those who want to stay where they are. So when they criticize you for seeing flaws, when they tell you to relax, to accept, to stop seeking perfection, they're not trying to help you. They're trying to diminish you to their level, because your high standards bother them. Your constant pursuit challenges them. Your continuous growth reminds them of their unrealized potential. And instead of being inspired, instead of growing too, they prefer that you stop, that you lower yourself, that you accept mediocrity with them. And if you do that, if you really lower your standards, you lose what makes you you. You lose the source of peace. You lose the purpose in the process. You lose everything that makes you special. So no, don't relax. Don't accept mediocrity. Don't stop seeing what can be better. Keep going. Because that's your nature. And your nature? It's a gift, not a problem. And now, finally, let's name the mystery completely. What Virgo has that others envy isn't a thing. It's a system. It's a way of life. It's an inner philosophy that creates outer peace. That's it. You understand that perfection isn't destiny. It's direction. And you walk in that direction knowing you'll never arrive. Knowing there will always be a next level. And instead of frustrating you, it liberates you. Because it means there's always something to do. There's always a way to improve. There's always purpose. And in this infinite search, you find meaning. While others are searching for the end point, you're enjoying the journey. While others are waiting to reach it to then be happy, you are happy while you reach it. And this paradox of seeking perfection knowing you'll never reach it, but being at peace with that, that's what others can't understand. And not understanding, they envy. Because they see results. They see your peace. They see your competence. They see your growth. But they don't see the inner system that creates all of this. And without seeing the system, they can't replicate it. They can copy actions, but they can't copy being. And being is everything. So, the mystery of Virgo? It's not a mystery. It's mastery. Mastery of oneself. Mastery of process. Mastery of finding the sacred in the ordinary. And others sense this mastery. They sense that you have something they want. And they're right. You do have it. But they can't have it without becoming, without developing, without growing. And growth requires discomfort. It requires work. It requires a high standard. And most don't want that. Most want shortcuts. They want results without process. They want peace without inner work. And that doesn't exist. So they continue to envy. They continue to look from the outside. They continue to wish they had what you have, but never doing what you do. And you? You continue. Not for them, not to prove anything, but because it's who you are. It's how you live. It's your nature. And nature? It doesn't deny itself. It expresses itself. And when you allow your nature to fully express itself, when you stop diminishing yourself, when you stop hiding what makes you different, you shine. And the shine? It's not to make others feel bad. It's to show possibility. It's meant to be an example. It's meant to prove that it can be done, that it's possible, that peace through dominion isn't a myth. It's reality. Your reality. And it can be for anyone who chooses, anyone who is willing, anyone who has the courage to be like you.